hope that you are now convinced of the importance of the CI therapy carryover techniques and want to learn more about this very important part of the intervention. These techniques are often overlooked, but are very important for maintaining motor gains and improving quality of life, as well as for producing brain plasticity. Unfortunately, despite overwhelming evidence of their importance, these techniques are not used at all in standard care. The following section of the video will describe each of these techniques in detail. One of the overriding goals for CI therapy is to transfer the gains made in the clinic to a person's everyday lives. The transfer package of CI therapy encourages participants to use the weaker arm for all their activities of daily living. The first is through the completion of a treatment contract. This involves writing out activities that the client normally carries out each day. The client will then discuss with the therapist which activities are to be performed exclusively with the more affected hand, which can be performed with assistance from the other hand or with caregiver assistance, and which can be performed by the less affected hand.
It is strongly encouraged that you attempt all of those daily activities with your weaker arm in order to reverse non-use and encourage the type of brain plasticity that you'll need in order for your weaker hand to do these tasks with ease and automatically in your daily life.
Activities attempted with both hands are typically those that are extremely difficult for someone without arm weakness to do single-handedly. For example, tying shoes or braiding hair. In cases where a family member is able to assist, it is often preferable for the caregiver to assist with the task during the 2 to 3 week treatment period rather than to use the stronger hand. This allows for maximum practice with the weaker hand and prevents the stronger hand from taking over when performing the task. Some activities will still need to be done with the stronger hand alone for reasons of safety. For example, using a cane. The treatment contract provides opportunity for clients to consider other activities of importance to them that they may have not been doing as frequently since the stroke or brain injury. These activities are added to increase use of the weaker hand and arm during times when they are not otherwise active. Examples include turning pages of a magazine or knitting while watching TV, playing a musical instrument, or practicing a golf swing. When completing the treatment contract, the therapist helps the client to consider which activities will require in-home modifications. For example, using an orthotic device to build up the handle on a fork, using a plastic mug with a large handle, using rubber shelf liner to keep a plate from sliding, using a command hook sideways as a drawer pull, tying loops with cord on zippers to make them easier to pull up and down. This works for purses, coin pouches, and jackets. The treatment contract is considered a binding agreement between the therapist and client. One copy of the treatment contract is maintained by the therapist, and another copy is given to the client. This contract will be modified during treatment as the client progresses. Family members and caregivers should be present during the treatment contract. They also complete a separate contract. This contract ensures that they understand the treatment program, provides strategies on how they can adjust appropriately, provides techniques on how to provide the right balance of encouragement, increases the safety of the participant, and increases the collaborative engagement of the family in the client's treatment. Research has well documented how positive family interactions and strong social support improve health outcomes across a wide range of chronic conditions. To help reinforce adherence to the treatment contract, the portion that outlines daily activities that clients will complete is copied and given to the client to take home with them at the end of each treatment day. Prior to the next treatment day, the client examines the list and marks whether they have used their weaker hand for each task. The client then brings this list to the next therapy session. This home achievement record helps identify additional barriers to arm use throughout the treatment and provides an opportunity for therapists and clients to problem solve through these barriers together. It also serves as a record of a client's improvement in daily activities and motivates the client to try harder. Another important element of the transfer package is daily administration of the motor activity log. The motor activity log asks clients to rate how well they use their weaker hand for 28 activities of daily living. Examples include eating finger foods, washing hands, and putting on socks. If an activity was not attempted with the weaker hand, the client and therapist engage in problem-solving strategies to help the client become more successful with that activity. The motor activity log is critical for self-monitoring use of the arm for daily activities. If omitted from the treatment protocol, carryover is substantially reduced. In fact, the motor activity log and intensive training together are believed to be the most important components of the intervention. Neither is very effective without the other. The intensive training increases motor endurance, speed, and movement quality to enable the weaker arm to carry out daily tasks with greater ease. It also increases the person's confidence in their ability to use their weaker arm. The motor activity log promotes habit change. By encouraging the person to use the weaker arm more for daily activities, motor gains will be better maintained. In studies where the motor activity log was omitted from treatment, gains in quality of arm use for daily activities was half as great. This figure shows that motor gains are greater for the group that had all elements of the transfer package than for the group that only had intensive practice. The group that received the motor activity log only 4 times in follow-up falls between the 2 other groups for a period of at least 6 months. Not a bad result for less than 2 additional hours of intervention over the phone. Another really important part of the transfer package is problem solving. Problem solving is done both during the completion of the behavioral contract and during the motor activity log. Its purpose is to reduce barriers to attempting different tasks with the weaker arm. The approach we use is say, do, check. Say, the therapist prompts the client to come up with a potential solution to improve success with a task. Do, the client then tries out the solution. And check, the client determines whether the solution was in fact effective or not. Another important way that CI therapy differs from traditional therapy is the type of homework that the client is asked to complete. In traditional therapy, clients are often given homework such as stretching or specific exercises to do. In CI therapy, the homework is to engage the weaker arm in all daily living tasks. In addition to this, the client is asked to select 10 activities of daily living that they will practice for at least 30 minutes prior to the next therapy session. At least a few of these tasks should be challenging. By attempting tasks that seem very difficult and likely have not been attempted since before the stroke or brain injury, clients are often surprised at their ability to successfully perform tasks that they never thought possible. As an example, a man I worked with had not worn jeans since his stroke because he was afraid that he would not be able to do the buttons. After practicing buttons for a few days, both in the clinic and at home, he was able to do the button not only on just his jeans, but a button-down shirt as well. The final component of the transfer package is the mitt restraint. The mitt has become the face of CI therapy, but is actually much less important than the other transfer components, according to recent research. The purpose of the restraint mitt is to encourage the use of the more affected arm by preventing the use of the less affected arm. The mitt is worn during and outside of therapy. Although some people say that the mitt serves as a helpful reminder for them to use their weaker hand, others strongly dislike wearing the mitt. For this reason, ongoing research in our lab is looking at other biofeedback technologies to replace the mitt. These technologies would monitor arm use, provide feedback to the client, and cue the client to use the affected arm whenever longer periods of inactivity are detected.